I just didn't have the time, so yeah, you had to wait, sadly. Sorry for that, but as always, we do a matchmaking video today after the last UFC event, which was UFC 328 Strickland versus Chimaev. Sadly, it's almost 2 weeks since the fights happened, so I don't know everything perfectly in my head anymore, especially because there was another fight night and the Gina Carano Ronda Rousey disaster. So I kind of mixed up everything, so I'm not 100% in the post UFC mode, but I will try my best. So I got my drink here, my special drinky drink. Let me drink a sip. And let's go into the matchmaking. I chose 10 fighters from the event as always, and it's almost entirely main event fighters except one, because Jeremy Stevens, I'm pretty sure he's gonna be out again, or sometimes he fights when there's a card in his hometown, but I don't really think he has a future in UFC, to be honest, so I left him out. But we got another interesting guy instead, who is called Adebar Gauthier. I told you, first of all, in predictions, I went through it, through the list, and I went 6-4 in predictions, so at least positive prediction. But I went 0-2 in title fight prediction. But honestly, I think a lot of people at least are 1-1, if not 0-2. Anyway, so yeah, Gauthier fight. I think everyone knew what will happen, and exactly that happened. He destroyed his opponent. I said it in my matchmaking already. I don't get why they don't give him a top 15 guy yet, but I guess he just had to steamroll another guy once, and now hopefully next opponent will be top 15. And I was like, who else is like a monster jacked knockout dude in middleweight that would make sense? And my choice for his opponent is Gregory Rodriguez. Robocop versus, I don't know what Gauthier's nickname is, but that fight should be a banger, honestly. Like, I don't see this go to distance in any way. It would be a top 15 guy for Gauthier. The only reason why you could say this fight will maybe not happen is because Gregory Rodriguez would be technically fighting down, and as far as now I know, he's on a pretty good win streak right now, or he lost his last fight, I'm not 100% sure. But it would be, for him it would be fighting down, but if that isn't the problem, then I think Gauthier versus Rodriguez makes a lot of sense. Just two jacked dudes fucking each other up. I wanna see it. Okay, so next fighter on the list, King Green, or how I usually still call him, Bobby Green. It's so weird that his name is King now. So I predicted him right too. He did exactly what I expected. Jeremy Stevens, I mean, he is pretty hittable, pretty flat-footed, just more brawler type, and it just plays right into Bobby Green's fighting style. And I felt like once he felt Stevens' power, he was like, you know what, I'm gonna smurf on this guy basically, and yeah, that's also what happened in my opinion. So yeah, pretty good win. Now, my first thought was, so he had the exact same streak a couple of years ago where he went on a 3-4 fight winning streak, and then he got a top 15 opponent and lost. Then now he's again on a 3-win fighting streak. So my opinion is it's time for another top 15 guy. But then again, I was like, you know what? How about we do something else? How about we do a rematch? Since we're in the same situation again, 3 wins. Now it's time for a big test. Why not make a Jalen Turner rematch? I think it would make sense. For Bobby Green anyway, you wanna get your revenge. It's again 3 wins versus Jalen Turner. Again, 3 wins versus Jalen Turner. And for Turner, I mean, maybe for him it makes less sense, because I think in my last matchmaking I wanted to see the Hooker rematch, which I still also would like to see, but just how UFC is playing out right now, I feel like Bobby Green versus Jalen Turner 2 could be very cool, and maybe he gets his revenge. And if he gets past Jalen Turner, then guys, I love Bobby Green anyway, but then you really gotta respect his name. So yeah, let's do Bobby Green versus Jalen Turner. Okay, next fighter on the list, Joaquin Buckley, the loser of the fight versus Brady, and I got this one right also. So far 3-0. By the way, I said 6-4, which is like referring to all the fights I predicted, not because on my list there's only gonna be basically 6 fights. So the other 4, for example, Susur Kaev, I predicted he will win and stuff like that. So that's why I'm 6-4. But on this list, I'm 4-2. Anyway, so Joaquin Buckley predicted his loss. I didn't think he's gonna get ragdolled that hard. Like literally, I was pretty surprised, even though I said Sean Brady's gonna ground game him. But damn, man, now I'm really sad that we never got to see the Moraes Brady fight, because I just wish we could have. It would have went longer, so we can see how it does against someone like Brady. But yeah, super convincing performance, and sad and tough loss for Buckley. Back-to-back loses to Usman and Brady, two very heavy wrestlers. So there seems to be a problem in the wrestling division. No, wrestling department, that's what I wanted to say. So yeah, no more heavy wrestlers please for Buckley for now. He should fight down a bit, and I went through a couple of guys. A lot were booked. Covington is out of UFC, literally out of nowhere. Today I read it, Covington out of UFC. I was like, what? Because initially I wanted to do the Kobe Buckley rematch, because that fight ended weird anyway. So yeah, but no more Covington. So the only guy that remained, there were 2 guys remaining. First of all, Gilbert Burns, but I'm pretty sure he's retiring too. He still was in the rankings, that's why I wasn't sure, but I'm pretty sure he will retire. So I thought, why not give Joaquin Buckley the winner of the last Burns fight, which was Mike Mello. And I feel like this fight would make sense. 2 solid guys. Mike Mello, upcomer, just beat Burns, but a fading Burns, let's say it like this. So definitely no top 5 guy off of this win. but I feel like Buckley would be the perfect gatekeeper type fight for him. If he gets past him, then it's time to think about Mike Malone as legit, because his last two fights did not really impress me too much. But yeah, let's see Buckley versus Malott. My German friends always say Malott, but just like for fun, they don't actually think it's pronounced like that. Okay, now the winner of the fight, Sean Brady. Super solid performance, absolute. Like, what else can you say? It's just very solid, perfect game plan, perfect execution, super dominant, absolute good fight. Didn't take a lot of damage, so technically could run it back soon. He definitely needs some top guy right next, but let's go through them. Okay, so Moraes rematch doesn't make sense to me right now. Prates doesn't make sense to me right now. Why? Because you can see it as an 11th matchmaking, but I want to see Prates versus Moraes as title eliminator fight. That would be, in my opinion, the best possible fight right now as a title eliminator. So I want to see Moraes versus Prates. So these two are out. Title shot, no chance. Title shot will probably be Ian Gary versus Makachev. So these two are out too. And there's Usman, but I don't think, like, Usman is almost retired. I feel like the only fights he's gonna take are like title fights or maybe like super legacy fights, but I don't see him just randomly fighting Sean Brady, especially someone with such a ground game where Usman can't just easily dominate him, you know. So I don't see him fight either. So the only guy that makes sense, also because he's on a 2-fight losing streak, and the only guy that makes sense to me is Sean Brady versus Jack Della Maddalena. The fight for whose nose bends to the left more, or no, to the right, if you want to look at it from their perspective. From our perspective, to the left. So we have to figure out which has the better bent nose and who will win this fight. I feel like it makes sense. Maddalena lost to the best grappler and then to one of the best strikers. So now, what do we do? You know, he seems to have problems with both, and that's why I can't even say let's give him a striker next or let's give him a grappler next. Probably striker would still be better because Prates is just insane. But yeah, I think just ranking wise and how everything turned out, this fight makes the most sense. Sean Brady versus Jack Della Maddalena. Okay, and now let's fucking go. Heavyweight fight. I am so happy for my man Volkov. So we got Valdo Cortez Acosta versus Alexander Volkov. First of all, this is not bias or anything. If you genuinely think that Valdo Cortez won this fight, please never watch MMA again. I've read a couple of guys say robbery, and I'm like shocked, legit shocked, how you can argue that this was a robbery. I would even argue there's a possibility of a 30-27 for Volkov actually. But anyway, so he did what he had to do, exactly how I predicted it. Long range, stayed on range. At the end he started struggling a bit, but I think he just wanted to ride it safe, you know, don't get into a brawl like with Derrick Lewis. So yeah, very clean performance. Valdo Cortez had his moments, but was just an obvious skill and reach difference, and at no point I felt like Volkov was even slightly concerned, just such a clean fight, and I really, really love this guy. But as always, let's start with the loser for the matchmaking. So, heavyweight again is one of the weirdest divisions ever right now. So we got a champion that it's out. We got an interim champion fight between a former light heavyweight and a heavyweight. We got Josh Hockett versus Derek Lewis booked already. Pavlovich booked already versus Taliesin Teixeira for some fucking reason. I don't get it. Then who else is in heavyweight? Let me think. I don't have them all in my head right now, but basically for Valdo Cortez Acosta, almost everyone is out. Yeah, there was Spivak, but Spivak I already made in my last matchmaking. I gave him an opponent, so I wanted to give Valdo Cortez someone that is free, quote unquote. And I think what makes most sense is to put him against Curtis Blades. Blades lost his last fight, but he didn't get dominated or anything. Very close. Again, maybe fight of the year. So there's no way you could argue, oh, Blades has to fight someone far down the rankings. I feel like this fight makes sense, and just for if Blade wins, bro's back, we can talk about up fighting higher rank guys. If Cortez wins, the same. If Cortez wins, I want to see a Pavlovich rematch. That would be cool. But yeah, let's do Valdo Cortez versus Curtis Blades. Okay, and now my man, the man of the mans. I'm so happy he won. Alexander Volkov. This was by far the easiest of matchmaking of all of them, because for Volkov there's only, and I don't even want to hear anything else than this. Volkov next fight has to be for the title, and just for that occasion we got a new first time on this channel. The first time one of the opponents isn't a face or a text but a belt. I thought we make it a bit special, so from now on in my matchmaking, if you see the belt, it's gonna be a title fight for this guy. I just thought it's visually cooler because usually in my last, it won't be possible every time, but in my last videos, whenever I suggested a title shot but the champ wasn't clear, I always wrote the two names of the possible champs, but I feel like the belt just looks cooler, so we got the belt this time. And in heavyweight it's especially very, very weird. Again, we got the interim title fight happening first, then technically the interim champ has to fight the actual champ, which is Aspinall. So that's gonna be at least half a year, maybe 1 year. And UFC is disgusting. I could see them forcing Volkov into another fight, but if I was Volkov's mentor, I would say, bro, keep training, but no more bullshit fights. You wait until you get your title shot, because you fucking deserved it. And if you want to hear my early prediction, I say Pereira will win the interim heavyweight title. But, and now maybe a couple of guys will hate me for that, I think Aspinall will beat Pereira. So ultimately, the fight I think is going to happen will be Volkov versus Aspinall 2 for the then heavyweight title. But everything can happen, guys. Everything. So yeah, Volkov title fight next. Let's go. Okay, and now we can go to the title fights. First title fight was in the flyweight division. We got Tatsuro Taira versus Joshua Wan. Honestly, I'm a bit pissed because to me it was clearly early stoppage, way too early, especially for a title fight, and these aren't heavyweights, you know. So I mean, I think it was very, very, very early, but I'm not the pro, I wasn't there, so whatever. But first of all, now I'm ready to say Joshua Wan is legit. You know, I said in my prediction, and that's why I also predicted it wrong, because of the Pantoja win you couldn't judge him perfectly, but this fight you can judge him way better. So he can go 5 rounds, he can survive on the ground and survive smartly. You know, sometimes you just have to give up 1 round and not kill yourself trying to get up, and I feel like that's exactly what happened. Something which is ironic because the next title fight the exact same happened also. But yeah, kept it cool and then suddenly picked up the pace. Boom, 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 boom. The fight was amazing, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But Joshua Wan is fucking legit. Tatsuro Taira too, but Joshua Wan is legit, and this guy is 25. Like, he does MMA for 7 years or what, and bro, already won title defense. Like, this guy's just legit as fuck. But again, Taira also, it wasn't one-sided beating or anything. So just a super amazing fight. Was so much fun to see. Really, really enjoyed it. Both guys' stocks did not sink at all, and that's why for Tatsuro Taira, which is gonna be the first guy, I chose as his next opponent someone that is in a fight, like has a fight booked, but I'm pretty sure he's gonna win. And in my opinion, if he wins, he's just one more fight away from a title shot. And the guy I am talking about is called, oh my god, I don't know, Kyoto Horiguchi or so. Oh my god, I'm so sorry guys, I just literally brain fog. I just Horiguchi, something like that. You see the picture. I am so at least you know how he looks. He's also from Japan, so we would have a cool Japan versus Japan match. Maybe make it main event in Japan or something. You know, I could see that, and it would be cool for Japan too, because no matter who wins, a Japanese guy wins, and he will probably get next title shot. So that's just a win-win for Japanese people. And if the UFC wants to go to Japan, that's like a free win basically. I had to drink something, sorry. But also, I'm not 100% sure if UFC even goes to Japan, because Japan has pride. No clue if there's any, because thinking about it right now, I can't tell if they ever were in Japan, but whatever. So I would like to see that fight, Tatsuro Taira versus Horiguchi. Okay, now the winner, Joshua Wan. I said everything I have to say. This guy is fucking legit. This guy beat very good fighters so far, and there's only one thing left to finally settle it all down, and I think you guys know what's gonna come. We need a Pantoja rematch. I don't want to see absolutely anything else. Pantoja fight, like, look, Joshua Wan right now is super legit, like 9 out of 10 legitness. But if he beats Pantoja, then I'm ready to say this guy is on another level. And yes, he did beat Pantoja fair and square, but no, like, all of you guys that love MMA, you know that wasn't like a clear win-win. So we need this rematch. I want a banger fight, and if Wan can actually win it again, then this guy might be the next flyweight GOAT. Maybe he even brings back Demetrius Johnson from retirement. But yeah, we gotta see Joshua Wan versus Pantoja too. I saw Pantoja's already healing very well, and he's already training how to fall on his arm properly. So he got that, and I'm pretty sure that the rematch will be way cooler, way much more fun, way also longer, and just better. Yeah, I just hope for a very great fight, yeah. And now the main event of the evening, and probably the biggest surprise since the last upset of Mr. Strickland. I was so happy. I never was so happy of being wrong before. I could not believe what I was hearing and seeing, especially after how the first round started. So, yeah, we got a new champion, Sean Strickland. He did it again. He beat the best striker in the division, Israel Adesanya, in his prime to become champion, and now he beat the arguably best wrestler in the division to again become champion. This guy is built different, honestly. And first round looked very bad, but bad mainly in a way that I was afraid it's gonna be DDP fight 2. Hamzat is just gonna wrestle him down, not really attempt any submissions, but just dominant position all 5 rounds. But apparently Strickland's game plan was exactly that. If he takes you down, just stay calm, don't overforce anything, but make him work. Try to get up, try to get up, try to get up. Make him tired, and I feel like that's exactly what happened, because midway into the second round, Hamzat did start to look tired, and he also almost completely stopped trying to wrestle for the rest of the fight. Most of the fight was stand up, and beating Sean in stand up is insanely. I mean, Israel Adesanya couldn't do it. And considering that, I gotta say Shimaev still looked very good even in the striking. I gotta admit, definitely wasn't a robbery, but it also wasn't that clear to me, so it was very, very close, and split decision makes sense. But I personally, I had it 29-28 for Strickland, so that's after the fight. I mean, that was after the fight. Before the fight, I told you I think Kamzat will win. But yeah, I had it 29-28 Strickland, and that's exactly what happened. So yeah, congratulations to Strickland. I'm so fucking happy that he's the new champ, and yeah. So now matchmaking. People already talking about rematch. I don't want to hear anything about rematch. First of all, Hamzat didn't even make weight, so you are not even allowed to fight in middleweight anymore. And he apparently also told Dana, I'm done with middleweight. So, considering all this, considering there's not gonna be a rematch, considering Hamzat wants to move up, there's only one thing that makes sense, and I said it in my last matchmaking video, and it's funny because now it makes even more sense than last time, because Shimaev lost. So I wanna see him fight Paulo Costa at light heavyweight. I don't have to say much about this because I literally talked about this fight about 5 minutes in my last video. So if you wanna see that, you can watch my last matchmaking video where I already matched those two together. But back then I said for the interim light heavyweight title. Now, can you give Hamzat a light interim heavyweight title shot after losing your middleweight title? I don't know. The answer to the question is honestly, I don't know. I mean, this guy is a huge name, and before he lost to Strickland, no one would even have doubted if this could be a thing. I stand by my decision. I say let's make it for the interim fight belt, but I'm not sure what's gonna happen. But I wanna see Hamza Chimaev versus Paulo Costa. This fight has to happen at light heavyweight, and if it's gonna be for title or not, let's see. I hope it is. If not, maybe we get a, I don't know, because Ulberg's gonna be out, maybe instead we get something like Ankalaev or something. I don't know, but I feel like Shimaev Costa would make the most sense, because you gotta consider the name value too. Would you rather see Ankalaev versus Khalil Roundtree for the light heavyweight interim title, or would you rather see Shimaev versus Costa? Be honest. So yeah, let's make that. And now for the new middleweight champion, Sean Strickland. There is only one thing that makes sense. Like, not even a question about it. Again, most of the guys are out or don't make sense, and like him or not or whatever, you have to give Imavov the next title shot. It's just not fair if you don't give it to him. And I feel like it makes sense. They have history, Shimaev and Imavov. Shimaev, Strickland and Imavov have a history. Strickland won against Imavov once. So there's kind of the revenge angle, you know. And he's also the most deserving. And why would you give, for example, DDP random title shot? He definitely needs a fight. I think he's gonna fight Brandon Allen. I'm not 100% sure. So he's out anyway. Hamzat is gone. Pfeiffer needs one more fight. You can't give him a title shot over Adesanya win. So yeah, Borralho needs another win. There's all these guys, just doesn't make sense to give them a title shot. So we have to see Sean Strickland versus Nasruddin Imavov for the middleweight title. I think he's gonna wait a bit. Strickland's gonna be out for at least half a year, I would say. But I think it's a fight that would be a lot of fun and which I would enjoy watching. Yeah, so maybe one last as a finisher. Let me just talk about the fight night main event and the Netflix card real quick. So Arnold Allen versus Costa, solid fight. I told you guys, don't sleep on Arnold Allen. This guy is insane. It was absolute brilliant performance. That's the Arnold Allen we all know. What's next for him? I don't know. Gene Silver rematch doesn't make sense. Fucking Yair Rodriguez. Pull Yair Rodriguez out of his bed and put him against Arnold Allen. I want to see him fight. So yeah, and the Netflix card, like what the fuck even was that? I'm so happy I don't pay 1 cent to watch this bullshit. So Junior Dos Santos got thrown out to the Sharks to get killed, which he did. Beautiful 3-punch combo by Despain. Beautiful combo, but literally fighting an NPC at this point. 50-year-old NPC. Then we got Francis Ngannou versus Philippe Lins. Another mismatch where, like, also Ngannou, like, I don't understand this guy. So you don't want to fight Jake Paul for, I don't know, 50 million because it doesn't make sense to you. That's literally what he said in an interview. It doesn't make sense. Like, bro, how does 50 million not make sense? And then half a year later, he fights a former light heavyweight who nobody knows, or at least most casuals don't know, just to smurf on him, basically knock him out, and that's it. So no clue why that fight even existed in the first place. I mean, I'm always happy to see Ngannou. I feel like it's so shit that he wastes his best years with all that political nonsense and boxing and whatever. I just want to see this guy destroy people in MMA. I wish he would go back to UFC, but he probably won't. But if he did, it would be amazing. I would like to see a Jones fight. I would like to see him fight, I don't know, Cyril Gahn or Pereira, who knows. But yeah, then we had who was co-main event? Oh yeah, Nate Diaz versus Mike Perry. Someone posted a picture of Nate Diaz's stool after the round, and it literally looked like there was shit on it. So apparently Nate Diaz had a little bowel movement after a body shot, and that fight was again such a what the fuck. Again, such a what the fuck. But solid performance by Mike Perry. Nate Diaz, I don't know, he just didn't even look like he wanted to be in there, to be honest. So yeah, and the main event, like, honestly, what the fuck even was that? Usually, like, I wouldn't say it was fixed, but it's just the entire fight card was just mismatches. Despain, Santos, mismatch, Ngannou, mismatch, Nate Diaz, Perry, maybe less of a mismatch, but still mismatch. And Ronda Rousey versus Gina Carano, ultra rematch. Of course, primarily striker that didn't fight for 17 years is gonna get insta armbar submitted by some pro. I mean, guys, Ronda Rousey literally was the goat of MMA before she lost to Amanda Nunes, and also Holly Holm. You know, these are insane fighters. So I don't know why everyone pretended Ronda is like not elite level, especially on the ground. So of course she's instantly gonna shoot, and of course that's the way she's gonna fight. So I don't think it was staged, but it was just an ultra mismatch in the first place. So yeah, and whatever, man. I still watch the fights. We got a couple of nice knockouts. Like, don't get me wrong, it was fun to watch. All the fights were fun, but I just don't get what the point was. So yeah, but guys, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed the matchmaking. I hope you agree. If you want to talk about MVP event or anything, tell me in the comments. Tell me your suggestions in the comments. Did any of you lose money or win money on Strickland surprise win? Tell me in the comments. Like and subscribe, and until next time, bye bye.